Everybody, we're here repairing another turntable. Paul's working on a very interesting child's turntable.
It's a little Decca solid state record player from the 60s.
When you say Decca, that's like the record
the
company?
Decca record company.
They made records, and so they...
Well, they sold things with their name on it, yeah. Decca, the Palm Beach 12.
Is that the number of transistors?
No, it's got 2.
Oh.
It's a gutless wonder.
Well, why do they call it 12?
Who knows?
And it has a built-in 45 adapter.
Yeah, those are neat. So this one had a gummed up motor. Platter's been cracked. Cartridge and needle bad. Capacitor on the amplifier bad. Hardly worth messing with, but hey, people like these things. So I cleaned the motor, oiled it, put a cap on the amplifier, and had to make a cartridge to fit this tone arm because the original was bad and you're not going to find the original. The tape can go. So I've mounted a cartridge. I've got to go find the knob for it. And it works. It runs a little slow, but that's not my fault. It's just got a crappy motor. They power the amplifier by putting a small resistor in series with the AC and the motor. And the voltage drop across the resistor becomes the 20 volts for the amplifier, which means the motor's running at low voltage, hasn't got a lot of torque, tends to run a little slow. But hey, it's for kids. Kids don't know any better.
Are we going to be able to see the inside of it, or are you done?
Well, I just put the screws in it. I can open it back up if you insist.
I think our viewers would like to see it.
Well,
it's a gutless wonder, I guess, but...
Well, yeah, made in America. Give me a second to tie the tone arm.
I like the imitation leather cloth with
this awful
silver
wallpaper stuff that I guess you can still buy.
You know what factory this was made?
I have no idea.
Probably up north somewhere.
Well, yeah.
And this is you'd say 60s what?
Probably late 60s, early 70s. I mean, it's solid state. That was a big thing back then. It did have tubes in it. Screws out. I got a more interesting one to look at when we get through with this one. I got lucky. It worked the first time I plugged it in after I rebuilt it. I would have bet money I'd made a mistake or two, but so far so good. Okay. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves. The stuff we made in America back in the 60s.
One volume control, that's it. No tone, no nothing.
Just a volume control. And you get inside.
Wow, look at that.
You've got this motor, 2 transistors in the amplifier, and they've got a resistor in series with the motor. So you drop about 20 volts across that resistor, rectify it, filter it, 2 transistor amplifier.
It was nice of them to put in a schematic.
Well, yeah.
Look at that 70s, 60s PC board.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And the transistor has a heat sink on it.
Yeah.
Now, do you often worry about those paper? Is that a paper cap right there, the white one?
That one's not going to go anywhere. That's right there. It's the ground cap, and it's not going anywhere. This cap was bad. The next one over is okay, and for what they paid to fix these things, I'm not changing it.
Now, someone else on YouTube was saying the paper caps go bad because the paper rots. Is there any truth to that?
The theory is that the acid in the paper used to make capacitors eventually will eat through the electrolyte. Now, the early electric amplifiers that run on house current, got a Pathé in the living room. First, all electronic record player made using an RCA/Webster/Westinghouse amplifier has paper capacitors, and oddly enough, they're usually still good after nearly 100 years because they were made with rice paper and they were very expensive. So there's some truth to that paper thing. In fact, I've got one on the shelf in here somewhere, if I can find it. There's the capacitor out of that Pathé. 2-hole microfarad.
It's so big.
And it still checks good, but it's obviously got some problems. Yeah, that was 2 microfarad at 500 volts.
And then when they say wound condenser,
that was one of the patents that they laminated the paper and the foil together and then rolled it instead of stacking plates. These were rolled.
And so this condenser here is about 100 years old.
1925.
1925. So almost
85, 90. Yep. I'll tell you what's funny. I was working the other day at one of my other shops. I've got a 63 Motorola black and white TV, tube type. Should be a piece of cake. Can't get high voltage on it. Don't know why. Everything seems to be fine. Friend brings in a 1947 GE 12-inch round tube table set. Bought at a flea market for $35. Took it out of the case. Everything is there. I thought, well, we got nothing to lose. Put it on the Variac. Brought it up over about 20 minutes. Brought the line voltage on up. I said, well, gee, we've got high voltage. You take a screwdriver and go to the top of the horizontal output tube and the flyback. I turned around and there's a raster on the screen. Can't get the Motorola to work, but this 70-year-old set is still going. I had one capacitor getting hot. I kind of smelled it, but didn't do a thing to it, just plug it in. And I've got a lopsided raster. There's problems, but you got scratchy noise. You turn the tuner and you see snow. So everything in the set is basically functional. Who would have thought?
Are we going to put a record on this?
If you insist. I thought you couldn't do that with copyright.
Well, it depends on the record you pick.
Well,
something obscure.
Well, God knows I've got those. Let me see what's up here today.
That's the thing about YouTube. You can put anything on there, and they'll always try and find a copyright on it.
Yeah.
And there's lots of these YouTube
here's one they can't find.
Copyright groups that they don't even care if they own it or not. They'll just claim it just to get money on it until you prove them wrong.
Well, there's one that's a compilation. It may not show up. Terrible record.
Well, that's exciting.
Well, these 2 plays on one side record, the grooves are really, really small. Do the flip side of a Brian Highland. Oh, I know what it is. We took the tape off the cartridge. It's leaning sideways. I've got to find a knob to go on this, and I'm the only person left on the planet who has a drawer full of these knobs. So you can flip it over to play 78s. One of the things these are good for is a 78 sounds surprisingly good on these little toy record players.
That's amazing.
You know what's sad is how bad they sound. But that was America.
You can imagine, they could have like a party and all the teenagers would be in there dancing to this. They couldn't even hear it.
Well, if you were a teenager and that's the best record player you had, you were pretty sad. This is something that a kid from the age of like 5 to 10 would have to play kids' records on, where it didn't really matter. But this is going back to an antique store. Somebody will buy it. I have no doubt. I fixed a million of these when I was a kid, a long time ago. Oh, before I forget, microwave part. So maybe it'll fit. Let me put this together. I want to get onto the Zenith. That's the one I spent so much time on. And I've tested it. I know it's working. Come on. Tie it down.
Well, still, these are amazing things. The cheap things that are old are still interesting.
Well, I could do more on things like this. This one was kind of an interesting process.
Well, I guess that's all for this one, Paul.
Well, you want to do the Zenith?
Yeah, let's do that, but we'll do a separate show.
Yeah.